Okay, I've been meaning to do a red dot video for a long time and just haven't gotten around to it. I want to give quick overviews on these 6 here that I've used over the years, what I like, what I don't like. If you want a lot more detail, there's plenty of that from other channels out there, so go do your own research in that regard. But I'm going to start on the left with my least favorite of the bunch and finish up on the right with my favorite. So we'll start off with the Leopold Deltapoint Pro. It's been around on the market for a while. It's a pretty solid dot. I have several of them. Good size window there, good clean dot. But the biggest downside of the Leopold is this single button brightness adjustment on the top. It's also your battery housing. But if you want to change the brightness, you got to press the button. And while you're pressing the button, you block the emitter. So you can't actually see the brightness until you move your finger away. And if you pass the setting that you want to be on, then you have to work your way all the way through to the brightest and then get back down to the whichever setting you want. So it's an inefficient way of adjusting the brightness on the gun or on the dot. So definitely need an update here from Leopold before I'd consider buying another pistol red dot from them. Second one here is the Aimpoint Acro P2. It is a closed emitter design, the only closed emitter that I have. Got your brightness adjustments on the left side. Also uses a 2032 battery, which has the cover on the left side as well. Really good quality glass here, good and clean, dots nice and crisp, but it does have a smaller window, which I don't care for. And just the housing itself is bigger than what I would like, especially from a concealed carry perspective. And I don't have a personal need for a closed emitter design other than to just try it and see what I think. So it is also on the higher end of a price point, which I think is also a negative for that optic. All right, third one here is the Holosun 507 comp. I have this Holosun and also the 507K X2, which is the slimline, smaller platform. Never had a problem with Holosun. I do have a little bit of a personal problem with them as a company. They've got very good warranty and customer service and all that stuff, but they also make optics for the Chinese army, and I just assume not support a company that makes products for the Chinese army. That being said, it is a very large window. You got brightness adjustments plus and minus on the left side. The right side has a side mounting battery tray. Small screw there you got to be careful of. And the other downside, in my opinion, is that it uses a 1632 battery as opposed to the 2032. Comes with like 8 different reticles that you can select. Personally, I think it's just a marketing thing because there's really only 1 or 2 that I would ever use, and I'm almost always on just the dot. But has that feature if you're interested in it. Also one of the motion activated type designs. So big window, got a lot of rounds on this gun, that PDP with that optic on there, and it's performed fine. But like I said, I just assume not spend my money there, given other options. Third one here, we've got the tried and true Trijicon RMR Type 2 adjustable. And I definitely would recommend getting the adjustable version, even though the Trijicon, both the RMR and the SRO and the newer ones, all utilize a automatic brightness adjustment. And for me, that works 90% of the time. That's the brightness level that I would personally select. But there are times where it's good to be able to use a manual adjustment and dial it in to whatever setting you want. Biggest downside with the RMR is it is a bottom loading battery. So you have to remove the optic from the gun to change the battery and just assume not have to do that. When I've changed my batteries in the past, I have not had to really make any adjustments as far as the zero is concerned, but I would always recommend replacing your screws with new screws and not reusing your screws. I see a lot of failures that are a result of screws, improper torque, or they just, those things are pretty small, thin threads, and I would always prefer, especially on a duty gun, I'm going to use new screws every time I change that battery. Okay, second favorite here would be the Vortex Defender XL. I also have a Vortex Defender CCW in the mail coming to me right now. Real easy brightness adjustments, left and right side, up and down, and it is a top load battery compartment as well. But you can see it's got a huge window. I think it's slightly bigger than the Holosun, at least that's how I perceive it. Good clean glass, super crisp dot. I've got both the 2.5 and the 5 MOA versions. Good dots. Vortex definitely has made some big improvements on their lineup, especially compared to their older red dots. The Defender line is really good. Looking forward to getting that Defender CCW and see what I think of that. Overall, my favorite one though still remains the Trijicon SRO. I've got several of these, lots of rounds through them. They've all performed exceptionally well. Never had any problems with them. You've got the automatic brightness feature like the RMR has, but then you've also got your plus and minus on the left and right side. Top load battery. And the thing honestly that I really like about the SRO, I like the round glass. I like looking through a round window there, and that's just personal preference. The housing itself is a little bit smaller than some of the rectangular ones. Acknowledged it's not considered a duty grade the way the RMR is, but I've shot a heck of a lot of rounds through these and never have had a problem with anything. The last thing, and I'll just kind of say this is a personal opinion or preference of mine again, if I can support an American company, and I've used Trijicon a lot over my military career and certainly in the competition side, and they make great stuff, and I just assume support Trijicon or Vortex over a Chinese company. So to each their own. Nothing wrong with Holosun at all as far as I'm concerned, but yeah, I'm going to stick with those two on the right as my first choice, and really like the SRO. It's on my carry gun, and it's on pretty much all of my competition guns right now that I'm using. So I hope that helps. And if you have any comments, leave them below. Thanks.